if you've been following anything related to AI, marketing, and product, you will understand what has just happened. Google has launched and released its AI marketing strategy document for 2026, and you need to be well informed of what's going on. So in today's video, we're going to talk about those steps, kind of what it's addressing, what does it looks like, what are they speaking on in relation to marketing and strategy for AI and products, and how it can help you in your next mobile app or overall AI project. So if that's your jam, like it is mine, let's do it. Greetings, I'm Anticio Duke, product design strategist from Chicago. I help scale applications and have been in this space for 10 plus years. I'm going to cover what the industry titans are actually delivering and sharing in their white pages. If you need more information, click the link below. If you want to schedule a call with me and my team to kind of go over how to scale your app, we'll be happy to do it. Google, Alphabet Boys, however you want to say them, they have released their 2026 AI marketing document. And this carries a plethora of information and research as to how they're seeing users respond in today's marketplace. All right. Now we're talking search, we're talking content, we're talking e-commerce, and the wide range of ways they're connecting to their users. So I'm just going to give you some high level ideas about what's going in here. And I'm going to leave a link below so you can check it and review it at your leisure. But at least you'll have my consensus. You can review it on your own and take their research for what it is and make your own assessment. No gatekeeping over here, just letting you know. We're reviewing this on the iPad, so I'm going through the PDF as we speak. The main idea is you need to know that AI is no longer a feature. It is actually integrated in everything that you do. It's the engine behind most of the functionality, the modern marketing, the product growth that you actually are seeing in these applications. When you look at the document as a whole, it focuses on personalization, what that looks like at scale. It looks at automation and the customer journeys and what they're doing within the application. Data-driven decision-making, how you're using metrics to move those things forward for the company, and then real-time engagement when we're talking about chatbots and smart assistants and agents. So all of these things have a range and a purpose. It's not like they're doing it, saying it, having the functions happen for no apparent reason. These are all really good spaces to utilize AI. Now, the first bit of information, the first big idea coming out is hyper-personalization. Most of this is custom tailored. If you think about the theory, it's custom tailored to users themselves. How AI uses behavior, uses history, preference of a user, and all of that to tailor experience exclusive to that user. And we've talked about that in previous videos where I'll leave a link so you can get an idea of how to implement that. AI does that naturally now, especially when it's blended into the application. Talking about experiences, but if you also think of content, if you think of offers, you think of messages and how those adapt to the user, we're looking at personalization at its highest form right now when we're adding AI into the application. That means that every user sees the product experience, sees a different adaptation of what that UI may look like, sees a different functionality or feature within arm's reach as they're starting to complete a task. So you'll start to see this hyper-personalization wrapped in one product because each user has a different need. And Google leans into this because we're seeing it happen in real time. That's big idea number one. Idea number two is predictive intelligence. This really speaks to prediction. What AI is doing to predict what a user would do next. So let's say you're actually committing to a search function. You're trying to type some things in and it can predict, maybe fill in, autocomplete that next word to move you along in the search process. Or let's say you've completed registration, but you need to do another step. Okay, so it's predicting that you've gotten this completed, but now you need to complete the second step. Let me serve up the best experience so you can have a smooth transition into this and move you along faster. That's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see it suggest products, different actions, context overall before a user even has the ability to ask for it. This is where you're starting to move from reactive UX to proactive UX, so that we're serving up experiences before a user could even ask for it. That's big idea number 2. Big idea number 3 is conversational interfaces. You'll start to see more and more chatbots, assistants, and others become a primary interaction layer. Yes, this is no longer saying we keep static or one-size-fits-all UI or landing pages. You'll start to see more interactivity where a chatbot becomes your focal point. Some kind of interaction where agent becomes your entryway into that experience. These have been heightened, and then NLP, so natural language processors, they will start to replace menus and different forms. You'll have the ability to speak into some kind of device, and it pre-populates and fills that information based on what you're providing. That can become the gateway into doing so, providing searching inputs. And so now users actually have the ability to talk to products rather than starting to navigate them. And that's a huge shift that will take place, not only in the eyes of the user, but in how product designers start to build new apps and software. We're going from a tactile functionality to a more fluid one that's natural in its process. That's big idea number 3. I know you're liking this video and you're liking the information. So do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up, like it, and then share it with someone you feel can get value from it, because they're coaches, they're entrepreneurs, there are other designers out here that need this information to help push things, push it over the edge. And you can do that by sharing it. Subscribe, because we do videos like this all the time. See you then. Big idea number 4 is automation of funnels. We talked about user journeys, but this is where AI starts to handle more and more things. Lead qualification, like follow-ups, conversational nudges to users. That's when AI is at its most valuable, because then marketing starts to become continuous and not just based on a theme or a campaign or a moment in time. It really starts to take shape overall. And that's kind of the basis you want. You want a round-the-clock service. Products will then start to sell themselves and promote and do all of these things without human intervention. They've built up enough reps and have enough information to serve the user in the best way for their needs without being blocked in any way. That's big idea number 4, and it's a huge one. Big idea number 5, and as you read this, I suggest take a look at this document so you have a grasp of it on your own, and it will be very, very helpful for you. But number 5 is feedback loops. And this gets into systems thinking. So every step, every connection, every interaction starts to feel like a system is being built, or feel like you're part of that system. AI will start to improve over time. We'll gauge a little bit more interaction. We'll have a bit more fluidity in how it approaches things for you. And you will see that take shape in its products and how it markets and how it serves things to the user. Essentially, the product gets smarter and better daily. That was the idea of training models, because it starts to learn over time like humans. And that's what we're seeing happen in real time. So those are the 5 big ideas from this document. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean for product designers, and what we should be doing in order to utilize these in our next project, product development, that roadmap that we're building for all of these companies to thrive. And really what it means is to start to shift your role. You are no longer designing screens. You are removing yourself from designing static screens to system-based experiences, interactive things, more dynamic experiences. Now you're starting to design systems, more behaviors, design engines, things that move and shift dynamically, and they serve the user in the best way possible. This will give you way more flexibility, range, and adaptability in this new age as to how tech is moving. This technology is not slowing down, and you will get further along thinking in those ways than you would just individual static screens, hover states, and things of that nature. So you product designers out there, you can't get away with just designing static screens anymore. You gotta level up, and this is why. You should check out this video for more predictive AI and how it will help if you add it to your application. And as always, your life has color. Make sure you design it that way. And I will see you in the next one.